So you gotta take those fears and turn them into your power. You gotta turn them into your power. It's just like you a guy, he a guy. What do all men have to do in school? We got to build up enough confidence to ask a girl to do something. When we don't build up that confidence, James or Joe go ask her, and now she's walking down the hall holding his hand. But that it taught us a lesson.
Yeah.
That all I had to do was ask her the same thing that he asked her.
For sure.
Whether she said yes or no.
A lot of people are living in regret. I never trying anything because they so afraid, and they got gifts, but they don't try nothing because sometimes you see up there, you see a person, they so good, they got like hours and hours and hours of this. They got practice. You just starting. You got a lot to give, and at the end of the day, even I might see a lot of people that work in my space, but it ain't me out there.
Yeah.
Hey, what's good, y'all? Welcome to Growing Painz podcast, where we talk about business, life, and faith as a young adult. I'm Tre'Vion.
I'm Yanni. Hey, y'all. I'm Jayda, and today we are doing another segment of Go Get It Development, where we bring on incredible people who are experts at what they do, and they're going to give us a little bit of advice, a little bit of guidance, and yeah, that way you can see their expertise. And so I'm excited about today's episode. And today we have Myla, and we have T. Anthony Monie.
Right.
Yes, sorry, y'all. But I'm excited to have y'all on here. Myla says she is the mindset queen, and then we have T. Anthony Monie, who is all things branding and marketing and all of that good stuff. So we're gonna get into it, but before we ask any questions, tell the audience about y'all, what y'all do, and just how you got into y'all's business.
Absolutely. So right now, what we do is we help all entrepreneurs turn their hobbies into scalable, profitable businesses.
Love that.
You want to hear like what, a short story or how we just got here?
Summary.
Yeah.
Inspired you.
So what inspired the Bulletproof Entrepreneur is some of the things that I have went through within the last 5 years since COVID, having failing businesses, rebuilt them, returning them around and scaling those businesses up again. And what I wanted to do for somebody out there like younger me is to make sure that they have their business bulletproof where they're making profit.
I love that. I love that.
Well, a little bit about me. I'm T. Anthony Monie from Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm a branding, marketing consultant, coach, whatever you want to call it. But I've been doing it for about 15 years, 10 plus as a business coach. Came from the industry of network marketing, became a top income earner in that industry. But I knew that was just a pit stop for me. And I knew that I wanted to do something big. And so I partnered with Myla, and we came up with the Bulletproof Entrepreneur. It's a platform where we help people go from the everyday person. Maybe you work in a job, coming from the workforce, or maybe you got a good idea, or maybe you got a hobby like we talked about. And we teach you how to formulate that, how to package that, how to bulletproof it, how to put all systems in place so that the business will run efficiently, even if the rainy day come, that business is still able to operate and produce income.
I love that.
So that triggers a question for me. So one thing that I have been practicing is mental fortitude, even through the seasons where things could be slow. I feel as though as of right now in this season, what I learned is that things aren't going to always be at the very top, and for some time it was going like very well for me. And then coming up to this year, things started to slow down, and I was like, oh, this is different, and so that made me have to practice mental fortitude and realize that, for one, I still have people that have worked with me and are able to come moving forward. So while this time is going where things are moving a lot slower, I should be focusing on systems and getting things in order rather than focus on how the scale of people that's coming in each and every single day. So my question to that is, how do you begin to maintain your strategy, your systems with the clients that you're working with, continuing to build that relationship, and also having a mental capacity to do that and show up?
Well, I feel like that, first of all, when you talk about systems, the first thing before systems is teams. So you have to have people on your team as the leader, leadership position, to say, hey, this person is good at doing this. This person is good at doing that. And I'm good at this. All of those different areas need to be delegated to those people.
Yeah.
So, let's just talk about music. Like, if I'm the singer and you are a producer and we got somebody that's good at film, now we got a team. Now we can create the video, we can write the music, we can do this. But I'm not going to act like the filmmaker and I'm not going to act like the producer when that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. So once we have the team in place, now we can go out there and find the systems to make the team run efficiently. That means with our business, whether we got a funnel, whether we got a website, whether we got the webinar, whatever it is, we want to have those things in place so we're not manually operating that. It's actually operating itself. So back in the day, they used to call it oil, like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
And I think in business, a lot of people missing that.
I think I'm one of the people that's missing that.
I am too.
I think a lot too, so
No, definitely. Yeah. I feel like this is going to be really helpful, though, especially when y'all said helping people turn their hobbies into like profit or being able to make money off of that. I feel like for you, Trey, you just got into photography, which right now it's a hobby, but I don't know if you want to make it profit or not, because we just talked about that. You said, I don't want to charge yet because this is like just a hobby, but I feel like what the information y'all have will be able to help for sure.
Yeah, so I feel like that's a place that we can start. For me, I started off doing graphics, helping content creators, and content creators can be broad because I felt as though I was serving so many niches of content creators, podcasters, entrepreneurs, artists, a YouTuber, just all of these different people. And I started to realize the process in which I was serving these people were different every single time. So it's hard to create a system around that when I'm the only person. And then on top of that, now I'm getting to this space of filming, doing photography. It's like you're all over the place in a sense. Yeah, clothing. And even that, I was like, okay, I'm not going to move forward with that just yet until I get what I already started under control. And so with that, what I started with as far as the graphics, YouTube thumbnails is what I've made like the most money from. I'm like bought a car with it, all of those things. And so with that, it requires a lot of my time where I'm spending from the morning time all the way till at night where I'm working on it. But one thing that has helped me recently was delegating. And so right now I currently have one designer that I'm working with like solely. And I started working with a second designer recently. But both of those designers help me because as I'm getting into the space of photography and videography, I'm able to send the designs to them at night and wake up in the morning, the design is already done. Whereas if I wasn't doing that before and it was just solely me, now I'm trying to crunch all of this time to be over here, create this design, show up for this client, and it just wasn't working out.
I think, and I'm gonna let her touch on the mindset and mental part, but I think that we've all learned that we must have multiple streams of income, and we all look at that and we understand that differently, right?
Yep.
It is okay to have multiple streams of income, but if you don't even have one solid income, how could you have multiple? So when you're doing business and you want to grow that one thing, once you grow that one thing, it will start to create spider legs on its own.
Yeah.
It's just like, if a person is a graphic designer and then one day, they get a group of people, they master designing, they're doing everybody's websites, they're doing everything. And now all of a sudden he bought a camera. Well, with being a graphic designer, photography does play a role in that. And now he said, you know what, I'm going to do photography, but I'm going to bring a team in and I'm going to employ them to outsource this to do that for me. So that's what we say when you create the different multiple streams and strategies to make that one thing still grow bigger.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's exactly where I learned that when I say the shift happened this year, that's what I realized. When I was focused on just graphics and doing just thumbnails, I was making $1,200, $2,000, $3,000 a month. And then as I started to get in these other fields, I'm like, hold on, the money is slowing down. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I realized it's because you're in all of these different areas.
It's taking you longer to produce the product.
Yup.
Like, hey, where's my stuff at?
Exactly. And people are like, okay, where's this at? You know what I'm saying? That's like, oh, I'm over here.
In the city.
Yeah.
We ain't got our stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And so I realized like when I was just focusing on that one lane, it was working. And when I started expanding, like people are like, oh, do you know how to do a retractable banner? Do you know how to create a flyer? Are you able to do event branding?
I mean, well, you started acting like Superman.
Yeah, and that's what
now we're gonna call Clark Kent to pull out his cape so he can do all these jobs.
But like you said, if you just would hiring a team. Like, so for the extra money that you were making, like you said, it was coming in at a, rapidly at first. That's when you were like, when you didn't have no worries, is when you start duplicating yourself. And I learned duplication actually maybe 10 years ago with him before I started my business. Because the first business I was in was network marketing with him. And it was certain words that always stuck. I have not been in this business in over 10 years, but it was always follow the system and duplicate yourself. Follow the system and duplicate yourself. And it probably 7 years down the line, I didn't even understand what that means. Until I got burnt out, until I was like, my background is, the first business I started was healthcare. So I was the administrator. I was the person that go and replicate, basically correct the employees. I was the person to go and talk to the clients' moms and elderly. I was the person that had to talk to Medicaid. I was the person that had to clean the office. And it was that moment I had 2 partners, and I'm like, hey, what is our exit plan? And I think we need to. So we had started getting $8,000 and $10,000 a piece a month. And for me, actually, my life was good. I had already bought my house. I had never had a car note. So all that money was just coming in to where really we were supposed to reinvest it. Now I did invest it and buy assets like houses and stuff, but it should have went back into the business so the business could have some legs and some foundation. And I thought about, I wasn't even really talking to him, but I thought about what he used to tell me, like, follow the system, duplicate yourself. And I swear that was the way he taught his teams. I didn't understand it until now. Like, even now I'm building my businesses. Hey, if I make an extra $100, can I pay you to do this? And, me outsource it before I even think about, I can buy my daughter some shoes.
That's
good. Real quick. If you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Tap in, twin. Take a 5-second break and go subscribe.
Exactly. We got so much on our channel, y'all. We got blogs, we got challenges, we got silent library, we got everything. So what are you doing? Go subscribe right now.
What are you doing?
Go
subscribe.
Stand on business. Go stand on business.
Stand on business,
Let's get back into the episode.
Man, and when you say follow the system and duplicate yourself, that's something I'm noticing is literally the game plan is there. You just have to follow it. Like, for an example, about 3 months ago, I set a goal to hit 10K for my personal brand. And I was studying other brands. I'm like, okay, what are these other brands doing that I can duplicate but tailor it to what I do? And I did it, hit 10K in like 2 weeks. So I'm like, normally 9 times out of 10, I feel like the plan is just there. You just have to follow it. But okay, I got a question. So I have a Christian streetwear brand called Wise Label, and also I'm building out a Christian clothing brand community called Streetwear Disciples. And in there, I bring on other clothing brand owners to mentor my community, because I noticed that a lot of clothing brand owners want community and they want help. And so if y'all were me, what would y'all do to get y'all first 1,000 people in there?
Well, what is the offer?
It's $35, and we do weekly calls every Monday. I teach a class, and then also there's digital products in there as well.
Okay, so, and you want to get it to your first 1,000 people. Okay, so what is the brand marketing strategy behind you pulling those people in?
I post content. So I have a series where I teach my own lessons I've learned and just tips, just giving value. So that's a series I do. And I collab it with my personal brands.
And how many people are in that series?
In this series, like that support the content?
Yeah.
Man, a few thousand.
So that few thousand, so you got to look at the numbers, and all numbers are the same, right? So I always tell people, so if every time you talk to let's say you talk to 100 people.
Okay.
Only 20 people is probably going to engage with you. Only 10 of them is actually going to listen and go a little bit further, but only about 4 people are actually going to come in and go for the full ride with you. So when you have a set of people, you got a few thousand people, what's the incentive that you're giving those people to bring those people to your community?
That's good. Yeah, I don't have that.
Right. So I always tell people, in order for the numbers to grow, you have to take the numbers that you have and you have to increase that by the incentive that you get the people to want to bring the people to your platform.
Okay. So
you create the incentive. You create the let's just say you want to do a giveaway, or you say, hey guys, for the next 10 days, the person who does X, Y, and Z, this is what I'm going to give you, this free, whatever.
Okay.
And now you're building what is called momentum,
Okay.
velocity times mass.
Okay.
That's everything works like that.
Yeah.
In order for you to go to Jamie Foxx concert, there's a marketing strategy plan in place for one person to see one thing to go tell their mom and dad, hey, did you see what Jamie Foxx put on Instagram? Because the incentives.
Okay.
And so that's what I tell people. It's all about the momentum. You got to build momentum in your business. People don't just come to it's a lot of people that may like you, but they don't know you're talking about nothing.
Right.
That's a good point.
Because those people aren't talking about you.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it anything that you have that like got a huge like a gap of profit margin that won't cost you anything to like give away or give to those people or anything?
Yeah. Clothes for my personal brand. Well, my clothing brand, Wise Label. I have a shirt, so I could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or what about if you're the designer, let's say I got a couple of pieces that I can give away. It is going to be personalized signature by me, and you were one of the first to ever get it.
That's good.
People like to be the first of something.
Okay.
And if you do X, Y, and Z, now you can come to level 2, and this is what you get when you do this. And now she's brought 50 people to your platform, and that's only one person.
Yeah.
And you're making them your billboard too. So, I went to something in Houston the other day, and it said you can take 20 free pictures as long as you post this on Google and put on your social media. And I don't think it cost them anything besides 20 seconds for me to to take 20 pictures, because I was like at a photo lab type of place. And they like, well, you can't take, we're not going to print them out for you, but you can download them to your phone or whatever, but you have to let us post them on Google, and you got to shoot us out. That profit margin was that's a free profit margin for, that's, free advertising.
And I also have digital products too. So I have like a clothing brand course. I have a lot of digital products.
You got the stuff in place.
Yeah, I just got to use
You just got to put that system in
it
place.
together. Yeah.
So before I ask my brand question, I wanted to know from both of y'all. See, y'all said y'all basically are helping entrepreneurs have bulletproof businesses, right? So from y'all's perspective, what do you think a entrepreneur needs to have mentally to have what does your mentality have to be to have a bulletproof business, and what do you need to have on the back end side or the business side to have a bulletproof business? And so y'all answer that, then I'll ask my question.
So you got two questions. One is about what.
So one is for the mentality part is for you, and then the back end part is for you. As far as what do you need to have a bulletproof
Absolutely.
business?
So you're asking me, what mental state do you need to be in to start a business?
No, what mentality do you need to have a bulletproof business? Because I feel like y'all said a bulletproof
to not
business.
give up. Because there's going to be, challenging days. So to be already willing not to give up and understand that the money comes after your craft, like to not just give up. A bulletproof business meaning to face adversity and go to the end, because there's going to always be a bunch of little stuff saying you can't do this. Why do you think, like if you were working at McDonald's and then you say I want to have a clothing brand, don't nobody believe you at all. And I'm saying it from my own mindset. Like, didn't nobody believe what I was working like in nursing homes. And then I'm like, I'm gonna open up my own nursing home. I didn't know what that looked like. And don't nobody believe you, but you can't let yourself down. You got to ask yourself, do you trust you? And how much energy is this going to take me to get to, the end part? So like even with Bulletproof, we came up with it, and then I even thought about it later on, like how much energy is this going to take me to produce this? Because I don't want to produce, you know what I'm saying? I want to make sure that anybody that joins our community leaves with value. Like I don't want to, and he says all the time, we're not pushing no fluff out there. So you better come and you need to get your together and let's go. So, for me, on the mindset is not being willing to push through adversity and just being ready, and searching yourself.
That's good. Yeah.
With in the interim of, bulletproofing your business, I think that, the first thing you should do is hire yourself a personal mentor coach.
Okay.
That means that you want to put those dollars together, to pay someone to help guide you throughout the way, whether it's, and remember, they're not your therapist.
Yeah.
It's your coach. And so that means that now you have a wise counsel. So on the back end of that, I think that you should, definitely have a certain amount of accounts already established once you do the formation part of your business, right? So that means once you got your LLC, your corporation, or anything, I want you to set up 7 accounts, and I'll give you a few of them right now. Like, we all know bank account is first thing, business bank account. Second thing, always know that you're going to need some type of investment account. Because as an entrepreneur, you should still be invested. So open up a brokerage. What about your healthcare? You know that if you're, either working a job or your exit plan, how are you going to pay for healthcare? So you want to open up a healthcare insurance account, right? And then it's a few more accounts that you want to open, but you want to bulletproof yourself in the fact that, I'm not waiting for people to tell me to do stuff.
A high yield
checking or savings.
Yeah, and IULs are good because you don't have control of what the economy is doing. So like if you're paying into that, and when it's time or you got a new idea you want to do, you can borrow from that. If you didn't pay so much into it, you can borrow from that.
I've been learning about that a lot lately.
Only borrow from stuff. Like, so I tell people when it got something to do with credit, any of that stuff, like don't go apply for credit cards to be like, man, now I got the hush puppy shoes. Now I got this. Like, make sure whatever you spend that money on is going to bring you back more money. Yeah. So if you're going to borrow from the IUL, don't borrow from the IUL because, unless, hard times do come. Yeah. But for the most part, try to make sure it's an investment. So you're investing and you're reinvesting in stuff to make sure that it's creating dollars.
Yeah, and then you also want to make sure that with your marketing and branding, we know that every business is going to need some type of dollar put in place for the advertisement, marketing, and branding. And I think most new entrepreneurs, even guys your age, you don't think, okay, if I get $100,000 loan to build my business, a quarter of that should go to your marketing and branding. Yeah. So $25,000 probably needs to be set aside, and that's just me giving a configurative number, not saying that that's what you should do. Yeah. But you need to set those dollars aside because once you build the business, once you got the systems in place, and once you're ready to start, promoting or selling, how are we going to move it?
Yeah. Or maybe quarterly. I felt at that part too. So again, that's why I hooked up with him and said, we got to bulletproof this because I had all the stuff in healthcare. Like I understood the healthcare. Yeah. Then nobody know me. Like, why should I bring my child or my mother to you? Yeah. I worked in the business, so I didn't even know how to get out there and shake hands. I actually had mental blocks where I was insecure to even talk to you, and then started telling myself or underqualifying myself for, bringing health services. And then I'm looking at the person next door to me, or I even probably worked for and was like, they're no better than me, but I had insecurities that I had to work through to even do it. But I definitely failed with the marketing part because I didn't understand. I mean, I had a business name, but I didn't even have a logo for 2 years. So, didn't have a website or anything. So I'm not thinking about when somebody's bringing a loved one to me, they want to look up to see, like, what have you done? Yeah. You want us to pay your money. Like, who are you? How I know that you just didn't start this anywhere, you know?
See, okay, hearing you say that, I feel like, and I guess this will go into my question, I feel like my business is probably not bulletproof as far as, there was an example or something y'all said earlier where it was like if bad times happen or things happen, like
those rainy days.
Yeah, those rainy days, like your business is good. And I think that I had a lot of rainy days last year and my business was struggling. And so I am at a point now, recently I got a job, but I was basically, what I was dealing with was seeing a lot of growth in my business. I started selling a product, these jeans that went viral, and I made about like $30,000 off that one product. But still, even with that, I wasn't doing my marketing.
He would not have let you get a job. He would not have let you get a job.
And you know what? And I don't want to, people out there that's watching us, I'm not saying that a job is a bad thing, but I always give this philosophy to any of my mentees is why would you go and give somebody else 8 hours of your day and you're not putting that 8 hours into you? And he told me that. And if you are going to go give somebody 8 hours, then you still need to come home and give yourself 8 hours.
And I'm doing that. Look,
so would you took 8 hours and call people that you needed to call? Like, because he made me think of that. He was like, so you DoorDash for 4 hours. Yeah. Well, what about have you had just go meet the people that you were afraid to talk to for 4 hours? What about if you went to go belly to belly and knock on doors for 4 hours? Like, if you talk about, like, if you actually took 40 hours of your time and put it all in business. He said, how much you put in your business? I said, probably about 2 or 3 hours. He said, my point exactly. So you took 40 hours a week and just did it all in your business. You're going to see rapid growth. Like how she just said, I made up a plan. I followed the system, and in 2 weeks. That's because she did some type of system thing and wrote out something. But if you took 40 hours, like we actually go, and it's because it's all set up for us. So being an employee, money doesn't come first. They just tell us what to do. We don't really got to think or whatever. But if you think about it, they're paying you not to think. We're paying you to just come and do a job. I've already put everything in place for you. That's why it doesn't pay enough. When you like, well, you don't pay me. Well, hey, I had to think for you. But if you think for yourself, or you think about business are only made, like only have business are created because they solve somebody's problem. Payroll systems solve somebody's problem. Lawn care solve somebody's problem. So, you know, when you think about what problem am I solving, is there thicker girls that needed pants? There's like, okay, we cool with your pants that went viral, but what about my shape that's a little different? Or like whatever it was that you were trying to push out there, did you think about solving anybody else's problem?
I think that I think that getting the job showed me how hard I wasn't going for my business, but I think it was because I went through a lot of I don't want to say mental defeat, but dang near. I feel like last year it was just like I kept trying stuff, it kept not working, and it just got to a point where I was like,
but did you hire a coach?
No, I definitely have wanted to, but I feel like every time I tried to, I wouldn't have the money.
So I always tell people, not to cut you off, but I always tell people when the student shows up, the teacher will appear.
Yeah.
So while you thinking about how you're going to pay it, you need to be putting yourself in a position to even get around those people to want to mentor and coach you. So if I'm doing jeans and I'm doing fashion, why am I hanging out with basketball players?
Yeah.
I should be in rooms where people who are doing fashion and doing stuff that I'm trying to do.
Yeah. So one thing that I've done this year, because when I started out, I had was doing the graphics as I mentioned, but trying to be Superman is what got me messed up because it started out just doing the thumbnails and flyers, and I'm like, oh, this is going real good. Then I got 50 clients I'm working with on a weekly basis, and then I'm falling behind on work, and then now other stuff is getting added. People do you know how to edit a video? Do you know how to
you got to
do
restructure
this?
and say no. So the first part was the hustle, and there's nothing wrong with having that hustle. You know how to go back to what you know, but when you seen you got to think of which one that I'm good at, which one that I'm serving, and then I got to say I'm gonna go ahead and finish these orders I took, but I'm saying no more for this. So I seen him actually do that last year. He was like, okay, well, we got all this other stuff to do. So now I got to get my liaison to reach out to all of these people and say, if y'all want this, y'all better get it now because I can't do anything after December 31st.
Right.
Yeah.
I never seen something done like that, but I seen it and I was like, that's actually a good idea because what he's saying is I'm not doing that.
Yeah, for sure. And with that, so over time, just to fast forward, I began to just fall behind on stuff, and I realized I wasn't delegating as fast as the work was coming in, and so that kind of messed me up. So now in the position that I am at is I'm doing an internship, and the person that I'm doing the internship is mentoring me on how to manage having multiple projects because
you hit the key, you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. And so now I'm trying to make sure that I pay attention and listen to what he's guiding me with, because he also has multiple talents. He's a graphic designer, but his main thing that he does is photography. Now he delegates the other stuff, the graphics, the editing, outsource it. And so that's the point that I'm trying to get to as far as outsourcing, because to get to the overall point is, when it comes to me marketing and stuff, it's almost as if I'm nervous of gaining that same traction as I once had at that moment and making the same mistakes. And so that's where I kind of been stuck at, where it's okay, I have all these different talents and then I have these different things that I'm able to serve. But as far as marketing it, I'm just a little bit nervous because it's well, I don't know if I can handle all of it. You know what I'm saying?
Again, you don't want to be a jack of all trades, a master of none.
Yep.
So you have to look and see what is going on. Where is these moving parts? Why am I missing this? Why am I feeling frustrated when I get to this level? Because I always say, if you can't handle that small level, how could you handle a $500,000 a month business?
Yeah.
You know, so that comes back to those systems. That come back to, okay, now I understand I messed up there. I'm not going to go back to that same mistake, right? Now I got me a coach and mentor. Let me get guided. So I want to go to my wise counsel and say, I'm at this level now. What do I do next?
You got it.
And let them guide you, because they've already been through that. And if they're big or whatever they are, they understand that part and they know where you are.
Yeah.
You know, so don't overwhelm yourself by trying to over deliver. You know, you want to do quality over quantity. So if you're not doing quality work no more, when everybody was, you know, coming and you was the best at your game, now you're just going with quantity.
And then you tell somebody, hey, I know somebody else that know how to do that. I'm going to refer. Like, if you're not going to build the team out, then you refer. I'm not doing that work no more. But I got somebody for you. Use this number, affiliate, however you want to do it, or build you a team to say, hey, well, go over there. I don't know if you got an online thing and you want graphics, you know, fill out whatever you need and have a team do it. And then you can come and still supervise. Like, you still know what type of work you want to put out there, but you don't have to be doing it. But you can still manage it. Like, all right, yeah, that'll work, or it doesn't work.
And with the thumbnail designer that I am working with, a hiccup that I noticed is he now knows my systems and processes. Like, he's able to duplicate exactly what I know. But as far as like the intricate details of what I pay attention to, instead of me like telling him like, okay, make sure you improve, or like make sure the next time you place this here, I'll just like have him send me the file and still be doing the touch-ups. And it's like,
you got too much control.
Yeah, that's not helping. You know what I'm saying? Because now he isn't learning, okay, when I make this mistake.
You limited him from growing. You know, so if he send you the stuff and, you know, you say, hey, I'm going to give you a call in about 30 minutes and I want you to pay attention to this detail right here. The reason I want you to pay attention to this, because if you do it this way, this is the outcome.
Got it.
You know, instead of me going over your work, 'cause I don't like working over anybody. You know, so that's what I would do in that situation.
You got to think about it. We got a president there right now, and he doesn't know how anything works. He just know what he wants. He doesn't even care how it works. He just, hey, do it this way. And I don't know how y'all get it done. Y'all got to swim over there, do whatever. That's just what I want.
Well, they get the experts, the people who know how to do it.
And even for you, when you talk about not having the money, that's a mental block. That's a mental block. Like, I'm not definitely telling you to ever spend your light bill money, but you don't know what somebody will work with you and do, what kind of payment plan or any of that stuff. So that was all you limiting yourself because you wasn't ready to go there. So then that's why you was like, okay, I'm gonna just get a job, because that was what you told yourself. But it was just a mental block, because we all have it. Even if you got to start a payment plan, do some finance or whatever. And it's funny, because one of the ladies I talked to outside, I was like, one thing about me, I ain't afraid to invest in myself. Like, because it's not on me, it's in me. So, you know, I like nice cars, I like a nice house and all that other stuff, but all of that stuff can go tomorrow and I'll still figure how to get it back.
That's me.
Because it's in me. So as long as I invest in me, you know, it come out, it pour out, it impact other people. So never be afraid to invest in yourself.
Well, and you got to look at our community too. It's all fear based. Because if I tell you right now and I can help you get 50,000, the first thing you're gonna do is he trying to scam me? That's the first thing we think about. But you, the person who just said you couldn't come up with $5,000, is that a bigger scam or what I'm trying to do to you? So it's in your mind telling you that you don't deserve that.
And to work with someone, you know, I'm saying I'm gonna work with you. So this is what I do. I'm charging you because this is what I do. I'm not charging you because I'm scamming you.
If I'm gonna help you get 50,000 and my fee is 10%, you owe me $5,000, whether you want to pay it or not. So, you know, but you got to think about, okay, not only am I gonna help you get to 50,000, I'm gonna give you a strategy on how to turn that 45,000 into 250,000. And you take your 50,000 out of that 250,000 and pay that back. And now you up what? 200 grand. And you only paid me $5,000.
And even to the mindset thing, I was listening to Myron Golden earlier, and he was saying how most people feel like they lack resources, but really they lack the awareness of the resources they already have. And so that really made me realize, dang, really, I don't never need to search for the solution outside of me. I more so need to become more as a person. I need to improve my mindset. So that just connect what y'all were saying, just connected something I had learned earlier.
Listen,
He said all the time to me, he like, man, we around so many people got so many talents and they all doing they don't have no business doing instead of operating in their talent.
They gifts.
Yeah.
He said we all got gifts. And I mean, it took me a long time. So y'all are on the right track. So just don't stop. Don't.
And y'all young, don't feel bad about a job. We all had a job. Now I ain't gonna even hold you. I ain't had no job in 16 years, but we all had jobs before, and a job is supposed to be a stepping stone. But once you step into the world of entrepreneurship, the thought of having a job has already went out the door.
Yeah.
Because again, you're trading time for money again, and your whole goal was to make money to have more time.
Yeah, that's one thing. When it comes to like investing in myself, I noticed that I have like the possibilities are endless for me when it comes to investing in myself. Like I'll do whatever, but as far as letting go of control or letting go of like making the same mistake, that's what I have to work on, which is the mindset aspect.
Fear.
Yeah, the fear of what I believe that I deserve. You know what I'm saying? Or able to attain.
If you know that you're already going to fail, we all are going to fail over and over again. If you already put that into your mindset, you won't have that fear anymore.
Yeah, because I notice when I'm doing certain things or when it comes to like promoting, the reason why I have a sense of fear when promoting is because I'm afraid of like the perception of failing or like making a mistake in front of people.
She just made a mistake when she tripped over that cord earlier. But that's the fear of, what if I trip over that cord?
Yeah.
But if you're unaware of that fear, and she wasn't aware of the fear, she laughed it off because it wasn't a fear of hers. She know every now and then I'm going to do some clumsy stuff, you know? So you got to take those fears and turn them into your power.
Yeah.
You got to turn them into your power. It's just like you a guy, he a guy. What do all men have to do in school? We got to build up enough confidence to ask a girl to do something.
Yeah.
And then when we don't build up that confidence, James or Joe go ask her, and now she's walking down the hall holding his hand. So, but that it taught us a lesson.
Yeah.
That all I had to do was ask her the same thing that he asked her.
For sure.
Whether she said yes or no. So men should never have that fear. We've been dealing with that fear from day one.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I definitely have had that encounter, like with a girl, where it's like, oh snap! Like if you just ask, it could possibly go somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's all fear based, and you need to do some personal development. You need to get around people who got more than you, that's doing more than you, so you can see where that confidence come from. Confidence is in character. You know, I always she'll tell you, like, when dealing with women, I always tell the women in my family, like, who told you that you wasn't beautiful enough to get certain things in life or do certain things? Why do you feel that you're less than or have this low self-esteem? How did that get into you? But it was that little thing that happened when you was a little girl and somebody said, I don't like your hair. And you live with it for the rest of your life, and you keep hearing that person say that.
Oh, okay. No. This sparked a memory in my mind. The reason with the mistakes, I've gotten like crucified on like a podcast and just like in front of everybody. And that sticks in my mind where I'm like, yo, I don't want that to happen again. I don't want that perspective of me to like be out there. And so like, I'm like, just now I'm at a place where I'm like just thinking about every single move that I make. Like, oh, would this be the right decision?
You walking on eggshells.
Yeah. And that's what I feel as though I feel it, because I feel like when I was first started, I was just endless with just like making the decisions. You know what I'm saying?
But that was supposed to just grow you. It was just supposed to grow you. Like, so however you looked at it, even like when he's saying with coaching and stuff, it's some stuff that's said that I might not necessarily like that's how it's been delivered, or, like it feels attackful. And some of the things that we worked on, if it feels attackful, then you did something wrong.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
you have to be like, okay, I'm human. Let me fix this. Let me fix this, or whatever was getting ridiculed on the podcast, even if it was coming off, because some people do got weird energy. Even if it was coming off weird, just observe it and think of, what can I learn from this? And
it's going to happen again.
It's
going to happen again.
Yeah.
So you have to prepare yourself for the worst at all times.
That's real.
That means that, every day we walk out these houses, we taking a risk. So know that these things are going to happen again. It may not happen the way it happened the first time. It may be a different situation. So don't focus on what's going to happen anyway. It's just like one day we all going to die. Why are you focusing on dying? You should be focusing on living.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I tell people. I say, you know, it's a fear base. People ask me all the time, where did you get the confidence from? It started when I was on the stage at 5 years old. I never felt butterflies like everybody else. I don't know where that came from, but I knew that I was good enough to do it.
Yep.
I knew I was good enough to do it. And I looked at the people that went on the stage before me. I said, these people not even as good as me.
Yeah.
I'm about to go out there and shut all them down. That was my mentality at 5, 6, and 7 years old.
Yeah.
And it's just it's at the end of the day, we just feeling our way up. People who regret, like a lot of people are living in regret by never trying anything because they so afraid and they so critical to themselves and others and they got gifts, but they don't try nothing because they're afraid. They tear other people down and they're afraid to try something. But anything that you're gonna the first time you try it, I tell my kids, you're not gonna be an expert at this.
Yeah.
You know, so sometimes you see up there, you see a person, they so good. They got like hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of this. So they got practice.
Yep.
You just starting. I even had to tell myself, they're like, oh, you just, you got a lot to give. And at the end of the day, even I might see a lot of people that work in my space, but it ain't me out there.
Yeah.
You know, I got my own story. I got my own things I can give back instead of just saying, oh, well, so-and-so already doing it. It's enough of that. Blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, that's the thing that I have to uplift myself and say, but it ain't me.
Yeah.
And it ain't my people. I don't know who's going to connect with me.
Yeah.
They got their people. So, you know, it's just filling your way up and getting back out there and learning.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
sure.
Even if you are scared, work on that. Work on that. If you sit in a room, no, this is what I'm going to tell you to do. People look at me like I'm crazy because I go to a bar by myself. And they say,
I'm like that too.
How do you muster up enough nerve to go sit at that bar and start talking to these people because these people don't know me? And they probably doing the same thing, wondering or hoping somebody sit here and talk to them. Whether you're trying to holler at them, date them, whatever, or just have a general conversation, you got to be comfortable enough within yourself to say, hey, I can do whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
And I don't need a crowd of people for me to do it. So you got to get away from those people in your life that's not encouraging you. And you got to surround yourself with people who want to support you. Your friends and family, don't get upset when they don't want to support you. They're not supposed to. You're supposed to be going out to the world, changing the world, not them.
Yep, the impact, because you'll be surprised the most person that you might show up for. You're like, you didn't make it to my podcast today? They like I said, they don't even believe in you. They think she's just doing something like she always do.
Right.
They don't think about it until, that's why if you think about like the Tyler Perrys, the Kendrick Lamars, all those type of people, they leave home and a whole bunch of other people believe them. And then they all start saying, oh, I remember that person. And then the people where you came up at, they come back and they all got these stories. But that's the only story they can keep in their mind when you first be like, I think I can rap. I think I can do a film. He, like, it's hard for people to even understand that man ain't nowhere from Atlanta. He from New Orleans. He left New Orleans and came down here and created him a life and got this whole studio going on. And, you know, but it was because he believed in himself, and for whatever reason, he took the community with, you know, exploiting black, you know, stuff, but it's still, his people didn't see him and didn't even see the vision behind it. They don't believe in anything. Oh, they just got a camera or something. With me and him, they just fixing credit in the basement. Like we were collecting social security numbers.
They used to say all type of weird stuff.
Yeah,
you know, we talking about real friends and family. You know, sometimes even your parents don't even see your vision. You know, I told them to go get a job. And, you know, not knowing that one day, you know, your baby gonna build a multi-million-dollar business, and, you know, you couldn't even muster up enough support to say, hey, I know you can do it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's all we all need to hear sometimes. So you want to surround yourself with those encouraging people and stay away from those people who every time you tell them something, they start tearing it down.
Yeah. Don't even tell them nothing. Just kind of lie. Like, you know, just I'm doing some things.
You know?
Until it's like all the way out there to where, you know, don't be upset at them either, because they
unaware.
Yeah, and they don't understand. They love you and they trying to protect you and keep you safe from failing too. So it's your subconscious. You're telling yourself you're going to fail, and those people are reminding you of the same thing because that's what you're attracting. So you got to kind of be like, hey, like if you want to be reminded of it, then boom, cousin gonna remind you, mama gonna remind you. So kind of keep it away, because that's why you telling them, so that they can stop you.
And, you know, I definitely want to say out there, if it's some young people that, you know, is listening to, you know, what we're talking about today, is you got to keep going. Do not stop. Like, it's sometimes it's gonna seem like it's gonna be so ugly. You can be like, this stuff ain't working. It is working. It's just not working the way and as fast as you want it to work. Yeah. But if you keep going, it's inevitable for it not to work. Because you're going to keep getting better and better and better and better. And then it's going to start opening up those doors. But if you quit, I'm telling you now, that's going to be your biggest regret.
Yeah, for sure.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good. That just turned me up.
Infinite always send you the right people for the right purpose. So you don't know what those, like I was telling them I was door dashing at the time. They said, do it pay money? Nope. I was just moving around because I was up underneath anger and stuff, but I was like, let me move around so that I don't know. I wouldn't just go driving in Houston. But if I'm driving, I might meet somebody, I might whatever. So I stay moving around. Yeah. So you don't never know what doors are being open for you, even if you start off and got some banger pants. You don't know what else is happening. And, just kind of follow the light. People be like, how you going to do that? I'm like, I don't know. And it's hard for the people to understand. I'm like, I don't know. I just know I'm going to take this step. And then I'm going to take that step. And then I'm going to take this step. And then I'm going to take that step. I actually don't know all the steps. And then as I take the steps, I write them down and say what worked for me. But I don't always know how I'm going to get to the end. I just live in the end and say I'm going to get there.
That just lit the fire under me. I'm about to go home and play Kendrick, I Deserve It All.
Yeah.
Like, because I need to get back to how you said, like, just going back, being myself, going outside without anybody and just like forgetting everything, like the perception of what people try to box you into and create my own definition. They're
only doing what we allow.
Yeah,
for sure.
They're only doing what we allow. Just like you, I look at some people, and we can even take it back to, what's the kind of stuff that's happening, with Jay-Z and different stuff in the world now. We know they business people, right? And we know that they're only. We know that they're only operating off public opinion. None of us know the true story to anything. None of us know anything, but the propaganda in the media will sway public opinion. Yeah. But at the end of the day, that man is still running his business. He's still doing day-to-day operations. He's still, dusting his shoulder off every day and taking all of the heat. He understands it is right now is just your time. Everybody's going to get a turn. Everything is not always going to be great and peachy. One day you're going to be in a situation to where it's going to feel like the world is coming down on you. But what do you do in the interim of that stuff happening? You keep going. You don't stop.
Yeah.
Because guess what? It'll start dying down one day and it'll be somebody else's turn.
Yeah, people don't care like that. We just like gossip. Nobody really cares. Like, so once you can even face your stuff, like I was telling you about the when you're on a podcast, if you can stand up and be like, yeah, okay, once you face it, people don't even know what else to do. It's when you feel embarrassed, when you feel all that other stuff, then it's like, let me point out another problem because you care about it. So I always tell people that about secrets, like, you can't embarrass me because I'll tell my own stuff. And when I tell my own stuff, you be like, I don't even know what else to do with her. But if I'm so afraid of the secret, then I'm like, they can't let that get out. They can't let that get out. But now they're like, we don't have nothing on her. She just kind of,
That's good. That's great.
It's good.
It's definitely good to see younger people, taking on entrepreneurship. Yes. Because the state of the world now and the conscience of the world, a lot of people are waking up and understanding things and knowing exactly where we came from and where we going. And I always tell people all the time, look at what you're doing, even the steps that you're taking. You are your ancestors' wildest dreams. They dreamed of us doing this one day.
For sure.
And so if you could,
they fought for it.
Yeah, they fought for it and they dreamed about it. They prayed about it. They said, hey, they asked God to say, hey, you know what? Make sure that my next 10 generations ain't living in this.
Yeah.
And so we got to take that kind of stuff and teach the next 10 generations after us. And we are the examples.
Yeah.
Right. So don't feel bad about the business. It ain't going right. So what? It's not going to go right sometime. It is going right. We just can't see it. We can't see the other side.
True.
Yeah, and even to that point, that's been one of my motivating factors as well, because there's been so many times I wanted to give up as well. But I'm like, man, this is so much bigger than me. And so since this is bigger than me, I have to keep going regardless of how I feel right now. Because I also notice every time I feel like giving up, it be right around the corner, something pop off.
They go.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, okay, no, track record tells me that every time I keep going, it has to work out because I'm still trying. So, yes, that was really good. We like to end off with a question that we're going to ask you guys.
Okay.
What is something that you wish we would have asked you that we didn't?
what is something that I wish that you would have asked? I wish you would have dug deeper into, okay, what are some of the steps that a brand new person outside of the five of us should be doing if they're watching this podcast and they got an idea? What's the first steps they should take to get started today?
Yeah.
We want to use everything with a sense of urgency, and we want to make sure if we're getting on somebody's platform to do something that we feed into people, that everything we're doing is like, we're not doing this up here just to talk and have a conversation. We're actually trying to reach at least one person.
Yeah.
That don't know where they're going, which direction they're going, watching this and saying, man, those people said some stuff that I've been thinking about. And now, I need to go tell 10 people to tune into this podcast.
Yeah.
So that's something that I wish, we would have asked earlier in the conversation.
Yeah.
I
Anything?
don't have nothing.
Okay.
I don't have nothing.
That's cool too. Well, we
No, I don't have
appreciate
anything.
y'all for coming on here. Y'all gave a lot of game, a lot of good advice.
Definitely.
That I feel like is valuable to us, but also will be valuable to our audience. So we appreciate y'all for coming on here.
Yes.
Yeah, check us out, on major platforms. The Bulletproof Entrepreneur. I'm T. Anthony Money with my partner, Mila Hall. We want to give a special shout out to you all for even allowing us to come on your platform and to, feed the audience, and also to our, podcast coach, Brendan Boyd, and to our entire team and everybody who makes this possible for me and Mila to do what we do.
Absolutely bulletproof. Make sure y'all follow us on Instagram. My name is MyLove2004. And what is your handle?
The Brand Boss ATL.
Absolutely. And success is not like basically gosh, I done lost my thought.
It be like that. It's okay.
It be a lot. Listen, don't
Yeah,
feel bad.
success is not luck. It's consistency.
Yeah.
It's no luck. It's just consistency. Nobody, I hate to throw something back at him so much, but he was my coach. Like before we was partners, he was my coach. So it was like he would always tell me like, "Hey, those people are no different from you.
Yeah.
Hey, you can do that too.
Yeah.
Hey, blah blah blah." So it's just the consistency of how much do you believe in yourself.
For sure.
It's not luck.
That's good. Listen, y'all go get y'all business proof, okay? Bulletproof.
Bulletproof. Yes.
Period.
Absolutely.
Okay, y'all make sure y'all are subscribed to our podcast, Growing Painz Podcast, and make sure y'all are streaming on audio and the visual.
Yes.
And then follow us on social media at Growing Painz Podcast. Y'all can follow me at Yanni Bratcher.
And you can follow me at Tre'Vion.
And you can follow me at I am Jayda Ellis.
And we will be back with some more episodes. We appreciate y'all for coming on.
Yes.
And yes, stay tuned. Have a great day. Let's get it. We out.
Bye, y'all.
Oh, yeah.